I shown you my balls? What is up, you guys? My name is Bella. You might know me as OnlyJayus, and lately I've been rewatching a lot of shows from my childhood. iCarly and Victoria's just got put on Netflix, and I've been watching like crazy amounts of Malcolm in the Middle and Regular Show on Hulu, and just a ton of old stuff, okay? And that kinda got me going down this rabbit hole on YouTube, which led to some, well, it led to what we're doing today. Today we are reacting to dark theories from some of our favorite cartoons growing up, okay? So, with that, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know down in the comments what your favorite show was, and hopefully, we don't ruin it today.
Number 15. Squidward's Theory.
Squidward!
If you're familiar with creepypastas, you're probably also familiar with the Squidward meme of him taking his own life. The terrifying meme started in the dark corners of the internet like 4chan and Reddit, where people would modify still images of the show SpongeBob SquarePants and add a little horror and creepiness to it.
They made it.
The name creepypasta. That's where the meme of Squidward taking his own life began.
What?
In the meme,
how is that a meme?
A fictional character with a black background and shiny red eyes.
Yeah.
It was quite horrifying, actually, but it stayed amongst the horror fan base of the internet for years, till now. The show's animators decided to incorporate the meme in one of their episodes, which is very strange.
They decided to incorporate a suicide meme?
Still children, and the subject is a little dark, to say the least. The episode in question shows SpongeBob and Squidward as they explore a town that mysteriously doesn't adhere to the rules of logic.
I have not seen this episode, but I kind of want to now. It's like a lot of doors.
Then, suddenly, a row of doors appears, and Squidward proceeds to open one of them to see what's on the other side, only to find alternate versions of himself.
Ooh.
At this point, the episode is already quite nightmarish, but it gets worse. One of the doors clearly shows him after taking his own life, and it's
How is that him taking his own life? How is that? I don't understand. Like, maybe I just don't get it because I haven't seen the meme, but how is just him with glowing red eyes and then he fucking committed suicide? That doesn't make sense.
Number 14. Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust.
That's it. What? No fucking. Now I'm curious, but there's no goddamn way.
As crazy as dark cartoon theories go, this might be
Yeah!
the darkest. Some people believe that Toy Story 3 is
Who
about
are these
the
people?
Holocaust. You know, when Adolf Hitler killed 6
Where
million
are these
people.
motherfuckers?
How can a children's movie be about such a dark episode of our past? Well, for starters, the speech that Woody gives at the beginning of the film is almost identical to one in The Pianist, an award-winning Holocaust drama made by Roman Polanski. All the toys then decide to seek refuge in the attic, which is clearly a reference to Anne Frank, who was a Jewish little girl that had to hide in an attic from the Nazi soldiers. The toys are then all crammed into a box and taken away to a
making
daycare
it
center, which
make
is a clear
sense.
reference to the trains that took people
Stop
to the
making it make
concentration
sense.
camps. You could argue that a daycare center's not a concentration camp, but in the movie, it isn't a happy place for the toys. The children constantly abandon them until
Disney
explain
explain
get
what?
sent down the waste chute, which might also be considered as a gas chamber. The similarities are too many to be a coincidence. Number 13. Mr. Krabs rescued Pearl from
wait, I've
the
heard this one before.
hunters.
I've heard about this.
There
Pearl.
are a lot of different theories
Mr.
about
Krabs
Mr.
thing.
Krabs and his daughter, Pearl, because as we all know, it would be impossible for a crab to have a whale.
You know, I never
as
thought
a
about
daughter.
that
The
as a
theory
kid,
that
though.
seems
Like,
to
I
be
never
the
was
most
like,
accepted
I just
by the
accepted
fans
it.
is
I
the
was
one
like,
that
yeah,
says
this is
he
his
accidentally
daughter.
rescued Pearl when
But
she
it's
was
a
a
whale.
baby because some hunters or fishermen killed her mother.
I think it's like a shitty YouTube video.
So, seeing the little Pearl all alone and scared, Mr. Krabs just took her with him and raised her as his own. This theory really fits because, for example, Mr. Krabs has shown extreme fear of hooks and has repeatedly warned Patrick and
Well, I mean, 'cause they're
SpongeBob of
fucking
the grave
fish.
danger
Of
of
course they're
being
gonna
near
be afraid
them.
of hooks.
Also, Mr. Krabs
Yes, he does
loves
love
money,
money.
and he hardly ever spends it or gives it to
Except
anyone.
Pearl.
But if Pearl asks him for money, he gladly gives it to her. Maybe he feels bad because he couldn't save
you guys
her
heard the
mother.
theory
There are
that the
many other
secret
theories about
ingredient
this
in
subject,
Krabby
but this is the
Patties
one that
is crab
seems to
meat?
fit the best. Keep it in
That one
mind the
freaks
next
me out.
time you watch the
Like,
show.
we've always been like, what's the secret formula?
Number
It's crab
12.
meat.
The Smurfs are anti-Semitic and racist. Antoine Bueno is a professor at the Paris-based university Sciences Po, and he recently published a book where he analyzes the Smurf society and political situation. Let me explain. He thinks the Smurfs children's TV show is anti-Semitic. He starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. They are discouraged from taking any kind of initiative, and they all eat together in the same communal room.
Cultish.
There's only one leader, and they rarely leave their home country. It's starting to sound like communist Russia. And
but where's the rate?
Papa wears a... He starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. And then we have the #1 enemy of the state, Gargamel, which Bueno says is an anti-Semitic caricature of a Jew.
Guess.
In other words,
but they don't
your
even
favorite kids show
say
is
that
a totalitarian utopia. There's even one episode where the Smurfs are bitten by a fly and their skin turns black and they lose the ability to speak. And that clearly has colonial overtones and also profound and clear racist traits.
I don't even really like the Smurfs. I'm not going to defend this. Maybe it works, but like...
It was right in front of our eyes all this time and we didn't
It's a children's
notice. Number 11. Snow White is about cocaine.
I can believe
addiction.
this one. I haven't seen Snow White in years, but sure. Yeah, it's
movie
about cocaine and
Snow White
addiction.
is about cocaine addiction has been around for a long time, but it's easy to understand why. There are so many different coincidences that it might just be true. First of all, the name of the main character, Snow White.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if you know what cocaine looks like, but it is literally
I don't
a
think
white
they started
powder that
calling
looks exactly like snow.
cocaine Snow
Then
White
there are the
until
names
even
of the
after
7
movie,
dwarves, which are named after their personalities. And believe it or not, they match exactly the different stages of cocaine addiction and withdrawal.
More about that.
The first two are happy and grumpy, and those make a reference to the mood swings that are caused by using cocaine.
Gosh, gee, what a monster.
Addicts will have very aggressive mood swings several times a day. And then we have dopey, sleepy, and sneezy, which amounts to actual stages of being on the drug.
The
Dopey
sneezing
literally
one.
means high. You sneeze a lot when you take cocaine because it's a powder and you take it through your nose. And then you finally feel incredibly sleepy after having spent all your energy running about.
People have way too much time on their hands to be trying to
we have Snow White's big sleep.
Like, do you really think Disney was like, let's make it a cocaine analogy? Like,
number 10. Winnie the Pooh and friends have serious
I heard about this one.
disorders.
I don't know if I fully believe it.
It has long been speculated that
did you
every
know Winnie the
character in
Pooh
Milne's Winnie the
is a
Pooh
woman?
series represents a psychological disorder. And recently, the Canadian Medical Association Journal published an article where you can find every diagnosis. Pooh is believed to be suffering from, of course, binge eating disorder. That means he has very low self-esteem that he tries to balance by eating non-stop. In real life, it's a very serious disorder that lots of people suffer from.
But it's just honey, right? He just likes honey.
Personal favorite.
Piglet was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which means that everything would stress him out to a level of huge discomfort. Eeyore,
depression,
on the other hand, was thought to have a dysthymic depressive disorder, basically a very serious case of depression. If you feel like your childhood feelings
Tigger was my favorite, which kind of makes sense because he's, I think he's ADHD, right?
Tigger's disorder seems quite obvious. He had ADHD because he was so hyperactive.
That was my favorite character growing up,
and finally, Rabbit was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. This can be extremely dangerous in real life. It makes for very toxic people.
I don't think he
was
narcissist. He kind of was just
one
like.
Did you feel you identified with
Maybe,
as
I don't
a child?
fucking know.
So basically, Winnie the Pooh and friends were just a bunch of insane individuals completely
What about
denying their
Owl?
disorders and
Or
in a way,
Piglet?
validating each other's
You said Rabbit
behaviors.
twice.
If they were people, it
Motherfucker.
would be called codependency, and it's not an easy thing to avoid. Number 9. Garfield is dying of starvation.
No, he's not.
A series of Garfield comic strips was released in October 1989 that literally freaked everyone out. They were about Garfield waking up only to realize he was in an empty and abandoned house, and finally accepting that not only was he alone, but that he had been for many years already. So basically, all the joyful strips that we are all so fond of a grumpy, lasagna-loving cat were merely Garfield's dream, his way to escape from the nightmare of his real life.
I can't believe you tried to give Nermal away.
It just makes more sense
People were
that
very quick
the
to come
nightmare
up
was
with
the
their own
nightmare and the
theories.
real life
Some
is real
thought
life.
the cat
you know?
had died and gone to hell. Others thought that Garfield was a stray cat starving to death and hallucinating about a home and an owner.
Y'all
that
remember
fed
when
him
Bill
every
Murray
day.
played Garfield?
The second theory is one that seems
talked
to make
about
more
it,
sense,
saying
given
that he
Garfield
regrets it now.
mainly only dreamed of food and is absolutely obsessed with lasagna. Although Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, has often repeated that the Halloween strip was just a way of freaking people out, there were still a lot of skeptics out there that think all the other strips were a dream inside the Halloween one.
Creators said that
What do you think?
that's not the case.
Number 8. Scooby-Doo was set during an economic
Yes!
depression.
I heard about this one too.
Have you ever wondered why it is that every single one of the places the characters in Scooby-Doo visit is completely
Because it's
run
supposed to be
down?
spooky.
There's an urban legend that says it's because the show was set during a terrible economic crisis that was so devastated it even affected celebrities, famous athletes, and important scientists.
not the
Why
important
else would all these
scientists.
people with the skill sets of having high-paying jobs devote their lives to petty crime by putting on costumes of scary monsters?
That's
It would also
true.
explain
Like,
the
I
fact
love
that every
Scooby-Doo,
school they
but
visit is empty without any
The
sign
show
of
doesn't make
student
sense a little
life
bit.
anywhere.
If you, like, what? Why are teenagers just driving around?
And finally, given that the gang
Solving
is constantly
mysteries.
driving their van with no clear destination, there's a big possibility they're simply
They
homeless
are.
nomads. The other famous theory
I
about
love Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo is that him and Shaggy are very high all
Hold
the
up.
time. And if you think about it, it fits.
That's like the
That's
whole
why they
joke.
sleep all the time, and they're constantly hungry, called the munchies. It also explains why they're very slow and forgetful, all signs
This
of
isn't
marijuana
even a theory, this is
smoking.
confirmed.
And finally, the darkest theory for last. Some people think that Shaggy's actually a drug addict, aka a junkie, and his drug-induced hallucinations make him believe that his recently deceased dog is still alive and can even talk. I bet you'll never see
I don't
this
like
show
that
the
one.
same way
That one doesn't.
ever
I don't like
again.
it. I refuse to believe that one's real.
Number 7. The Brenda theory. The Powerpuff Girls are
But I'm
one
counting
person.
3.
According to this conspiracy theory, the Powerpuff Girls are not 3 different girls with superpowers, but rather 3 different personalities of one very normal girl called
Who the
Brenda.
fuck is
Many
Brenda?
believe that Brenda developed dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personalities disorder, after years of enduring savage bullying.
Sugar,
from
spice,
her
and
mother.
everything
It's
nice,
important
and
to note
chemical
that
X.
this
There's 3 of
disorder
them.
is very
Shut the
real,
fuck
and
up.
It's only caused by a person suffering from an
No.
experience so incredibly traumatic they literally
No!
invent another
We're
personality
skipping to the
that is
next
more
one
equipped
because
to deal with the pain.
No!
Number 6. The Rugrats are all in Angelica's imagination.
Why?
Have you
Why
heard of
can't the babies
Rugrats
be real?
never
Why does
happened
everything
theory?
have to be
It's a conspiracy that started
imagined?
on Tumblr, and it basically speculates that the babies in the TV show were all made up by Angelica to cope with her absentee parents.
Bye, kids.
Interact socially with Daddy.
Tumblr user Radio Retaliation explains it this way. Chucky died with his mother, which explains why his father is such a neurotic, nervous wreck. Tommy was a stillborn baby.
No.
That would explain why Stu, his father, is always in the basement making new toys for the son he never had the chance
Why would
to
he be
meet
making
and
new
play
toys
with.
for
And
a son
finally,
that doesn't
the
fucking
DeVilles had
exist?
an abortion, and because Angelica had no way of knowing the gender of the baby, she opted for both. Twins. A little boy and a little girl. Oh,
What?
This one's giving me goosebumps. This theory completely changes the tone of a seemingly innocent and fun.
Yeah, because it's
cartoon.
fucking-
Basically,
it's
Angelica was
insane!
building an
No!
entire group of friends in her head. Friends that
Explain
could have been
the
around
explain
her,
the
but
sequel
death
then.
took them away.
When the
And
Rugrats go to
add
fucking
thought, she's also
school,
able to take
the all
out
grown up show.
aggressions on them, and they
No.
can't abandon her. It's a little too dark for a toddler to watch, don't you think?
Yes.
Number 5. Ash from Pokemon is in a coma.
That can make
This
sense.
theory revolves around the fact that in the first episode
To
of
be fair,
Pokemon,
though,
Ash fell into
I
a
wasn't
coma
allowed to
after
watch
being hit
Pokemon
with
growing up, so I don't know about
Pikachu's
anything.
supercharged thunder attack.
But that would
It
make
wasn't
sense.
Pikachu's intention to
Supercharged
hit
thunder
Ash,
attack,
of course.
coma.
The idea
Imagined
was to hit a flock
everything.
of Spearow, but somehow it backfired. So some people believe that everything that happens after this event is simply Ash dreaming from a hospital bed where he will be in a state of coma for years.
But does
One
that
of the
mean
facts
that in the
supports this
coma
theory is
world
that
that
Ash never grows older and never
Pokemon
changes his
still
appearance.
exist? Well, that's just how cartoons are.
During the first season, he says at one point that he's 10 years old, and he remains that age all throughout the rest of the seasons. If a kid falls into a coma, it's logical that it will remain his age in his head until he wakes up again.
Also, yeah,
it would
maybe.
also explain Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny being exactly identical everywhere he goes. The explanation of them all being identical sisters is highly improbable. What if they're figments of his imagination? Another strange thing that supports this theory is the fact that Ash never progresses past a certain point, which is very suspicious.
What does that even mean?
Number
Progresses
4.
past a certain point.
Peter Pan is the angel of death.
What?
It's an all-time Disney classic. Aside from being a little bit racist, it's also hiding a secret meaning. There's a theory that stipulates that Peter Pan is actually an angel that is guiding children to heaven or Neverland.
Yeah. Right?
And that's why the kids never grow up, because they are all dead. And when you dig into the origins of the Peter Pan story, it all makes too much sense.
Then what is
Maybe even a little too much for comfort. It turns out Disney isn't the original creator of the story.
So like, did they die? Because that doesn't make sense if they died, because they come back and then have kids, and then you go like that she meets the kids and like.
Barry lost his little brother David in a terrible ice skating accident only 2 days before his 14th birthday. The two brothers were very close, and this loss deeply affected both Barry and his mother.
Also, what the fuck is this like CGI'd Peter Pan? I've never seen this before. What the fuck is this?
It becomes evident that David could have been a strong source of inspiration for Peter Pan, but there's more. When we look into the name Peter Pan, we quickly realize that Pan was an ancient Greek god. Pan was a mischievous deity of the woodlands and is often associated with innocence and immortality. Because
that makes sense why they named them after it.
We can't really ask him if this theory is true, but there's a very big chance that Peter Pan is, in fact, an angel of death.
Angel of death!
Number 3. The Cars overthrew mankind.
This is just like basic Pixar theory thing, right?
Cars, you know they're set on this planet, but at a time in the future when there are no more human beings. So what happened to us? Why are they no longer around? Was it another meteorite like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs?
If you guys haven't watched my questions for Pixar's Cars, you should go watch that. There's like 3 or 4 shorts videos where I just asked tons of questions because like the lore of Cars is insane. Some of it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
The much larger and more
I have a lot of questions.
Pixar theory that tries to tie together all of the Pixar movies, but I digress. The world where the Cars characters live has.
Do you think Pixar likes the fact that we're trying to connect all the dots, or do you think they're pretty fucking annoyed with it?
So the movie is set on this planet. What probably happened is that we started creating smarter and smarter cars to the point that they became sentient. And when that happened, we became, well, dead weight. This theory's been backed up by Jay Ward, who's the creative director of the Cars universe. So I guess it's not a theory anymore, but a cold hard fact. The Cars in the Cars franchise became smarter than us and simply took over this world. I bet you're gonna look at
or they just ran us all over. They're cars.
Number 2. Ed, Edd, and Eddy are living in purgatory.
I made a whole video about this theory. This one
started in the year 2012, and it speculates that basically they are all dead. Take a look at the color of their tongues, for example.
The cul-de-sac is like
only dead people have tongues
is purgatory.
And also their skin color,
dead people have blue tongues? Wait a minute.
Tone, exactly like
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
There's also the fact that there are no adults in the show. They're constantly mentioned, but they never appear, and that is very suspicious.
Stay calm, Eddie. Think. I know. I'll hide.
And the fact that they are all in purgatory would explain the irregularity.
Tongues don't change color when you fucking die. This guy's bullshitting.
Sometimes you can see
I still like the theory though.
VHS machines, and in other episodes they're using computers, and that doesn't make any sense. Usually in a
they try to make the time like
electronics from that big of a range in history.
Like
so
they don't like pinpoint a time
because each character's from
you also never see any adults
history, from the 20s to the year 2000, and that's why there are so many historical discrepancies. We can't
but like,
know
why
for
are they
sure
obsessed
if
with
the creator of the
Jawbreakers?
show explicitly did this on purpose, but it really fits. Number 1. Wile E. Coyote is in hell.
Oh, a fucking 1000%!
is a
Oh my
classic
god!
cartoon that debuted in 1949, and the show consists
That's not
almost
goddamn old.
exclusively of the coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner and failing miserably.
Is the
time
Roadrunner
after
the
time after
devil?
Time again. The Roadrunner always outwits the coyote at the last minute and gets away in a very mocking way. If
Yeah,
you've
that's
seen
the
this
whole thing.
cartoon, you know that the coyote has his plans backfire in his face quite
Every
grandiously
time.
thousands,
He
if
never
not
catches the
millions of
Roadrunner.
times. But he always seems to come back to this nightmarish world where the object of his desires always at arm's reach, but he can never touch it. Sounds like torture, right? There's a theory that stipulates exactly that. The coyote would actually be stuck in his own personal hell for all eternity. It almost
Yeah.
sounds like the Greek myth of Tantalus. a
I don't
punishment
think
from the
that
gods,
cartoons
doomed to
intentionally
eternally be thirsty, but never being
we're
able to
going
drink
for this.
water.
I think we
I don't know
just
about you, but I
overthink
think
a
that
lot of
eternal
things.
Suffering is the main theme for
But
a
this
kid
makes
show
sense.
seems a
Of
little
course he's
bit
in hell.
dark, don't you think?
Yeah, I genuinely think that we as viewers just like to overthink. We want more to the story when there's really like they've given us all the story and we just like want to make it more. And some of them like I like to think about and like be like, yeah, that's possible, but like the rest of them are just weird and like we're definitely just like we need to stop. But you don't need to stop watching. Go watch more of my videos. Go do that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're new. We're almost at 4 million subscribers. That's fucking insane. Let me know down in the comments your favorite TV show because I'm gonna go through them and take recommendations of what to watch next. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, that was fine.